Beloved, I call you out of the place where anxiety has been speaking louder than my promise. I call you out of the quiet fear that the opportunity has passed, that the door closed forever, that the work you prayed about, prepared for, waited for, and wept over has slipped beyond your reach. I know the thoughts that have visited you in the late hours, when your body was tired but your mind continued searching for answers. I know how many times you have wondered if you missed your moment, if someone else was chosen instead of you, if the silence around your career was a sign that heaven had withdrawn its hand. But listen closely, my child. You are not merely standing in career uncertainty. You are standing near a threshold. There are doors that appear closed because the room behind them is not yet ready for you, and there are doors that appear closed because I am still preparing you for what is on the other side. What you thought was finished is beginning to stir again. What you believed had gone silent is not as silent as it seems. The place where you felt rejected, delayed, overlooked, or forgotten is being touched by my hand in ways you cannot fully see yet. I did not awaken this message in your spirit so you would return to fear. I awakened it because your attention is needed, your discernment is needed, and your faith must rise again. I have seen you watching others advance while you remained in the same place. I have seen the ache in your heart when names were called, positions were filled, promotions were announced, and you smiled outwardly while carrying questions inwardly. I have seen the applications you sent with hope and the silence that followed. I have seen the interviews that almost became something, the conversations that seemed promising, the leaders who gave no answer, the managers who overlooked your diligence, and the weary place in your soul that began to ask, Lord, am I still where I am supposed to be? Nothing in your labor has been invisible before me. Every faithful morning, every unseen sacrifice, every task completed when your heart felt heavy, every time you chose excellence when no one thanked you, I saw it. Beloved, do not confuse delay with denial. Do not confuse silence with absence. Do not confuse a closed door with the end of your story. I did not allow the closed door to crush you, but to prepare your spirit for the door that would require maturity, patience, and courage. Had I opened it when you first demanded it, your gift may have entered before your character was settled. Your name may have moved forward before your roots were deep enough to hold the weight. But now, even in the places that still look ordinary, I am stirring what you thought was dead. As written in Revelation, Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. Those words are not only written for distant saints in another time. They are speaking to the heart that has nearly stopped expecting good news. They are speaking to the worker who keeps showing up with tired hands. They are speaking to the one who feels trapped between staying and leaving, between waiting and moving, between trusting and giving up. The door at work is opening again, but it may not look like thunder. It may not arrive with applause. It may come through a small conversation, an unexpected email, a shift in responsibility, a person remembering your name, a burden lifting, or a holy unease that tells you the season is changing. So today, lift your eyes. Do not look only for the miracle you imagined, or you may miss the sign I am sending. Do not let fear make you dismiss what peace is trying to reveal. This is not the hour to sleep beside the threshold. This is the hour to listen, to pray, to watch, and to prepare your yes before the door fully opens. If you believe I am guiding your career season, let your faith answer even now. Like this message as a small act of agreement. Subscribe for more faith-filled words that strengthen your spirit. Share it with someone who is waiting on a work breakthrough, and write in the comments, I will not miss the door God opens at work. Let those words become more than a sentence. Let them become the posture of your soul. Because the door you thought was closed is stirring again, and I am calling you to meet it with attention and faith. Beloved, what felt like career delay was not the evidence that I had forgotten you. It was not the proof that I had turned my face away from your work, your calling, your gifts, or the desires you carried so quietly before me. I know the unanswered emails that seemed to fall into silence. I know the applications that disappeared into systems where no human voice ever returned to explain. I know the promotion you thought was near, the meeting that gave you hope, the interview that felt like a door beginning to open, and then the confusing stillness that followed. I know the ache of being qualified and yet not chosen, faithful and yet not acknowledged, present and yet unseen. But hear me with the ears of your spirit. The delay was not empty. The delay was forming you. There are seasons when I hide a person not because I am ashamed of them, but because I am strengthening what must not collapse when visibility comes. There are times when I do not answer as quickly as you ask, not because the answer is no, but because the weight of the yes requires deeper roots than you had in the beginning. You looked at the stalled promotion and called it rejection. You looked at the missed interview and called it failure. You looked at the workplace delay and wondered if heaven had closed the book over your name. But I was reading chapters you had not yet lived. I was preparing a responsibility that would have broken you if it had arrived before your soul was steady enough to carry it. Sacred things always grow in hidden depths before they rise to the surface. A seed does not look successful when it is buried. It looks covered. It looks forgotten. It looks as though the soil has swallowed it. Yet beneath the surface, where no applause can reach and no eye can measure progress, life is beginning to push downward before it ever pushes upward. Roots are forming in the dark. Strength is being gathered in silence. Patience is being taught in a place where no one is clapping. And so, it has been with you. While you thought nothing was happening, I was teaching your spirit how to remain faithful without immediate reward, how to work with excellence when no one celebrated you, how to pray without visible proof, how to keep integrity when frustration invited you to become bitter. Beloved, do not despise the soil. Do not curse the hidden place. Do not call the buried season a dead season when I have been using it as a womb. The patience you thought was only waiting has been forming roots. The humility you learned when others were chosen ahead of you has been guarding your heart from pride. The endurance you gained through long, ordinary days has been strengthening your capacity for the door that is coming. The disappointment that did not destroy you has become part of your maturity. The silence that made you seek me more deeply has become part of your discernment. Nothing has been wasted. Not one tear, not one delay, not one closed conversation, not one long walk home with questions pressing against your chest has been invisible to me. Remember Joseph. Remember the one who carried a dream before he carried authority. Remember how the pit did not look like progress, and the prison did not look like promotion. His life seemed to move farther away from the promise before it moved closer to the palace. He was misunderstood by his brothers, sold by those who should have protected him, accused in a house where he had served faithfully, and hidden in a prison where it seemed the dream had been delayed beyond reason. Yet the place that looked like wasted time became the pathway to influence and assignment. The prison was not his ending. It was the hidden corridor through which I brought him to the throne room. As written in Genesis, the Lord was with Joseph. The Lord was with him in the house of Potiphar. The Lord was with him in the prison. The Lord was with him before Pharaoh ever called his name. Do you see it, my child? My presence did not begin when Joseph entered the palace. My presence was already there when no one could see his future. My hand was already there when his gift was being tested in obscurity. My favor was already there when his surroundings contradicted the promise. And so it is with you. I have been with you in the office where you felt invisible. I have been with you in the job you wanted to leave, but had to endure. I have been with you in the waiting room between what ended and what has not yet begun. I have been with you in the silence after the email, in the disappointment after the rejection, in the ache after the door seemed to close. I did not forget you in the waiting. I was strengthening your character. I was teaching you how to carry responsibility without letting responsibility become your idol. I was teaching you how to value your calling without losing your soul to ambition. I was teaching you how to stand when recognition is delayed, so that when recognition comes, it will not rule you. Had I opened the door too early, the pressure may have wounded you more deeply. The praise may have tempted you. The burden may have overwhelmed you. The people may have pulled from you what your roots were not yet strong enough to supply. So I held back what you begged me to release, not to punish you, but to protect the promise from arriving before the vessel was ready. So today, let your heart be healed from the lie that delay means denial. Let your spirit release the accusation that I abandoned you in your career season. I was not absent. I was cultivating. I was not silent because I had no plan. I was working beneath the surface, where roots are made, where faith becomes patient, where motives are purified, where endurance becomes holy strength. The door around your work was not delayed because I had no favor for you. It was delayed because I was preparing you for a door you were not yet ready to carry. And now, as the soil begins to shift and the hidden thing begins to rise, do not look back with bitterness. Look back with understanding. The waiting was not wasted. The hidden place was not abandonment, it was preparation. Beloved, now listen deeply, because the pressure you are feeling at work is not always a warning to run. I know the heaviness that comes when a place that once felt stable begins to feel narrow around your spirit. I know what it is to sit at a desk, walk into a meeting, answer another message, carry another responsibility, and feel something inside you whisper, I cannot keep doing this the same way. I know the ache of being misunderstood when your intentions were pure, overworked when your strength was already tired, undervalued when your hands have been faithful, and suddenly restless in a place where you once felt settled. I know the unease that comes when the familiar no longer gives peace, and the old routine begins to feel like a garment your soul has outgrown. But do not interpret pressure too quickly through fear. Do not let exhaustion become your prophet. Do not let offense become your counselor. Do not let pride speak louder than my spirit. The pressure you feel is not always a sign that you are failing. Many times, that very pressure is my hand moving you out of old limits, stretching your capacity, awakening your discernment, and pressing your heart to notice what you would have ignored if everything remained comfortable. What feels like trouble may be transition. What feels like resistance may be the sound of a door beginning to shift. What feels like discomfort may be the final stirring before a new season opens. There are pressures that reveal a place you must leave, and there are pressures that reveal strength I am building before promotion. This is why you must not move only because you are tired, and you must not stay only because you are afraid. Sometimes pressure exposes a place where compromise has become too costly, where your peace is being drained, where your integrity is being tested beyond what I have called you to carry. And when I show you clearly that a place is closing, you must not cling to it as though obedience means remaining where grace has lifted. But sometimes, my child, the pressure is not there to push you into escape. Sometimes it is there to strengthen your hands, sharpen your wisdom, deepen your humility, and prepare you to carry authority without being ruled by resentment. I did not place my spirit within you so you would be led by panic. I did not call you to make career decisions from woundedness, bitterness, comparison, or sudden fear. I call you to discern. I call you to pray until the noise becomes quiet enough for peace to speak. I call you to examine your heart before you examine everyone else. I call you to ask whether the pressure is exposing injustice around you, or immaturity within you, or a door ahead of you. Sometimes all three are being revealed at once, and in those moments, you must come close to me, because workplace pressure can look confusing when the soul is weary, but it becomes clearer when you bring it into the light of my presence. Remember the people of Israel at the Red Sea. Behind them was the sound of Pharaoh's army. Before them was water they could not cross by human strength. Around them was fear. Within them was the temptation to believe that the wilderness meant abandonment. Yet the pressure behind them and the impossibility before them did not mean I was absent. It meant the next step would require trust. The very place that looked like a trap became the place where I revealed a way no one could have built. The sea did not open while they were still in Egypt. It opened when they stood at the edge, pressed beyond what they could control, forced to decide whether fear would define the moment or faith would obey my word. As written in Exodus, Moses said unto the people, "Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord." Those words are not only for those who stood before the water long ago. They are for you in the workplace pressure that feels too much for your own strength. They are for the one who feels chased by deadlines, surrounded by expectations, blocked by systems, questioned by people, and uncertain about what comes next. Fear ye not. Stand still long enough to hear me. Do not stand still in disobedience, but stand still in panic. Let your spirit stop running inside itself. Let your heart become quiet before me. I am able to show you whether the pressure is a warning, a refining, a redirection, or a preparation. Beloved, do not confuse the presence of pressure with the absence of peace. Peace does not always mean the situation is easy. Peace means I am with you inside it. Peace means that even when your circumstances are stretching you, your spirit can still sense my hand. Peace means you can act without revenge, speak without pride, wait without despair, and move without panic. If pressure is pushing you toward a decision, test the movement by humility. Does it draw you closer to prayer or farther into self-protection? Does it make you more honest or more reactive? Does it invite wise counsel, or does it isolate you in your own offense? Does it preserve your integrity, or does it tempt you to prove yourself through anger? Seek counsel from those who fear me, not only from those who agree with your frustration. Pray before you resign. Pray before you accept. Pray before you confront. Pray before you remain. Ask me to cleanse your motives, so that when you move in obedience and not in escape. Ask me to strengthen your heart, so that when you stay in faith and not in fear. Ask me to open your eyes to the small signs, the repeated confirmations, the unusual peace, the holy unrest, the wise words, the closed paths, and the unexpected invitations that reveal where my hand is leading. So today, do not despise the pressure. Bring it to me. Let me interpret what your emotions cannot fully understand. The same pressure that feels like trouble may be the force moving you toward an open door. The same unease that makes you wonder what is wrong may be the awakening that tells you the season is changing. You are not called to run blindly, and you are not called to remain asleep. You are called to discern. You are called to listen. You are called to obey. And as you do, you will discover that I was not using pressure to break you. I was using it to lead you beyond the old boundary and toward the door I have appointed for your life. Beloved, after you have brought the pressure into my presence, you must learn to recognize the sign. For many have prayed for an open door, yet when the first movement of that door came quietly, they dismissed it because it did not arrive with the sound they expected. They were looking for thunder, but I sent a whisper. They were waiting for a dramatic announcement, but I began with a conversation. They were expecting a sudden promotion, but I stirred an idea again in the secret place of their heart. They were asking for a miracle that would shake the whole room, but I sent an unexpected message, a renewed connection, a small favor, a change in leadership, a name remembered, a burden that would not leave, or a peace that settled over a decision they had feared for a long time. Do not miss the small sign because you expected a loud miracle. I am able to move with fire, and I am able to move with wind. I am able to shake foundations, open seas, break chains, and overturn what seemed impossible. But I am also the God who leads by a still small voice, by holy peace, by quiet confirmation, by a sentence spoken at the right time, by a door that does not burst open all at once but begins to loosen slowly under my hand. Not every work door opens in a way that impresses the eyes. Some doors open first in the spirit, some open through a thought that keeps returning in prayer. Some open through a person you did not expect to hear from again. Some open through the ending of resistance that once blocked you. Some open through a path that once seemed impossible, but now begins to feel strangely possible. Remember Elijah. Remember how he stood before me in a season of exhaustion, fear, and hidden pain. There was a great wind, but I was not revealed to him only by the wind. There was an earthquake, but I was not revealed to him only by the earthquake. There was fire, but I was not revealed to him only by the fire. And after the fire, there came a still small voice, as written in the book of 1 Kings. After the fire came a still small voice. That voice required attention. That voice required stillness. That voice required Elijah to come out of the cave and listen. And so it is with you. If your soul demands only shaking, you may overlook the whisper. If you demand only spectacle, you may miss direction. If you demand only what feels dramatic, you may fail to recognize what is divine. I know you have wanted a sign so clear that no fear could argue with it. I know you have said in your heart, Lord, make it obvious, make it undeniable, make it so strong that I cannot miss it. And there are times when I do make things plain in a way that even your trembling heart can recognize. But many times, I teach you to walk by faith and not by sight. I do not always remove the need for trust. I do not always answer in the form your emotions requested. Sometimes I give you enough light for obedience, not enough detail for control. Sometimes I give you the next step, not the full map. Sometimes I send a small sign because I am training your spirit to know my voice above the noise of fear. So today, watch prayerfully. Watch for repeated confirmation, not forced coincidence, but the quiet return of the same direction through prayer, counsel, scripture, circumstance, and peace. Watch for favor where there was once resistance, where a person who once ignored you now responds, where a system that once blocked you now opens, where a conversation that once ended suddenly begins again. Watch for the burden that will not leave, the assignment that keeps rising in your heart even after disappointment tried to bury it. Watch for new courage after long fear, when something in you begins to say, I can take the step, not because the path is easy, but because my hand is strengthening you. Watch for closed paths becoming strangely possible, not through manipulation, not through striving, not through forcing people to notice you, but through my timing making room where there was no room before. Yet, listen carefully, my child. Every opportunity is not my open door. Every invitation is not my instruction. Every promotion is not my blessing. Every increase is not proof of my approval. Some doors shine brightly, but lead the soul into compromise. Some offers flatter the gift while wounding the spirit. Some positions promise increase but demand silence where obedience requires truth. Some paths look successful before people but slowly pull the heart away from prayer, humility, family, holiness, and peace. This is why you must discern, not merely desire. This is why you must test the sign in my presence. The true door I open may stretch you, but it will not require you to abandon your integrity. It may challenge your comfort, but it will not demand that you betray your conscience. It may call you into responsibility, but it will not call you away from obedience. The sign of the open work door may be small, but it will carry the weight of divine direction. It will not always remove every question, but it will carry a holy steadiness beneath it. It will not always silence every fear, but it will invite your faith to rise. It will not always come with applause, but it will come with the quiet witness of my spirit. You may feel stretched, but you will not feel spiritually torn apart. You may feel nervous, but beneath the trembling there will be peace. You may feel unqualified, but you will also sense grace meeting you at the threshold. Beloved, do not despise the small beginning. Do not ignore the email because it seems ordinary. Do not dismiss the conversation because it came casually. Do not bury the idea again because it returned gently. Do not overlook the person I am using because they do not look like the messenger you expected. I have often placed great doors inside humble beginnings. A cloud the size of a man's hand announced rain after a long drought. A little oil became provision for a widow. A shepherd's staff became an instrument of deliverance. A small stone in David's hand brought down a giant. Do you see now? I do not need something to appear large in order for it to be appointed. And now, I am teaching you to notice. I am training your eyes to see more than noise, more than delay, more than pressure, more than disappointment. I am teaching you to recognize the gentle movement of my hand at work, so quiet your spirit. Bring the sign to prayer. Ask me to confirm what is mine and close what is not. Refuse the fear that says, you will miss what I have prepared when your heart is sincerely seeking me. I am able to guide you. I am able to warn you. I am able to open. And I am able to close. But when the small sign comes carrying my peace, do not stand there demanding thunder. Listen for my voice. Follow the light I give. The door may begin quietly, but if it is from me, it will lead you into the work I have appointed for your life. Beloved, when the sign begins to appear and the door begins to move, you must also guard your soul, because not every open path is an appointed path, and not every opportunity that shines before your eyes carries my peace within it. I know the fear that rises when you have waited long. I know how quickly the heart can say, I cannot afford to miss this. I cannot afford to wait again. I cannot afford to be overlooked one more time. I know the temptation to chase anything that promises money, title, recognition, escape, or relief from the place that has worn you down. But listen deeply. Fear of missing out is not the same as faith. Panic is not discernment. Desperation can make a door look divine when it is only loud. I do not condemn your desire for increase. I am not against your growth, your promotion, your provision, your excellence, or your advancement. I place gifts within you, and I delight when those gifts bear fruit in the earth. I am the one who teaches your hands to work, strengthens your mind to solve, gives wisdom to build, and opens rooms no person could open by their own striving. But I do not bless a path that requires you to leave your soul behind in order to enter it. I do not call you into a door that demands the surrender of your conscience, the neglect of your family, the silence of your worship, the death of your peace, or the slow hardening of your heart. The door I open may stretch you, but it will not corrupt you. It may require courage, but it will not require compromise. It may lead you into greater responsibility, but it will not teach you to dishonor what is holy. It may expose weaknesses that need to grow, but it will not ask you to become false in order to be accepted. It may cost you comfort, but it will not cost you obedience. Do you understand, my child? A door from me will align with righteousness, wisdom, peace, and calling. Even when the first step feels larger than your own strength, it will draw you closer to prayer, not farther from it. It will sharpen your purpose, not scatter your soul. It will make room for integrity, even when integrity is costly. Remember Esther. Remember the young woman brought into a place of influence she did not design for herself, placed near a throne, in a moment she did not fully understand at first. Her door was not merely about beauty, position, favor, or recognition. Her door carried responsibility. It carried timing. It carried courage. It carried obedience. She could have used influence only for survival, only for comfort, only for self-preservation. But the appointed moment came when silence would have been safer, and obedience required her to risk what she had gained. As spoken in the book of Esther, "Who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Those words were not only for Esther standing near a royal door. They are for you standing near a work door, a career door, a place of influence, a decision that may affect more than your income. Esther did not step forward in self-promotion. She stepped forward in surrender. She did not rush ahead in pride, nor did she hide forever in fear. She fasted. She discerned the timing. She honored the weight of the moment. And when the appointed time came, she moved. This is the kind of courage I am forming in you. Not ambition that forgets me. Not fear that buries your voice. Not striving that tramples others to reach a higher seat. But holy courage, quiet obedience, influence held with trembling wisdom, promotion carried as stewardship, not as an idol. So today, test the door before you call it mine. Ask not only, will this make me more visible? Ask, will this make me more faithful? Ask not only, will this increase my income? Ask, will this deepen my obedience? Ask not only, will people finally recognize me? Ask, will I still be able to serve with a clean heart? Ask whether this opportunity sharpens your purpose or merely flatters your fear. Ask whether it strengthens your integrity or teaches you to excuse what you know is wrong. Ask whether it makes room for worship, wisdom, family, health, and holy order, or whether it demands that everything sacred be placed on the altar of achievement. Beloved, do not sell your peace for a title. Do not trade your conscience for applause. Do not call it favor if it pulls you away from my voice. Do not call it breakthrough if it requires you to become someone your spirit can no longer recognize. I have better for you than increase without rest, visibility without joy, success without holiness, and promotion without peace. What shall it profit a man, as spoken in the gospel, if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? I am not leading you into a door where you gain the appearance of success while your inner life is slowly emptied. There will be offers that sound flattering but feel troubled beneath the surface. There will be doors that promise escape, but the peace will not be there. There will be invitations that stroke old wounds, making you feel chosen at last, yet quietly asking you to ignore wisdom. Bring these things to me. Let me expose what pride wants to hide. Let me calm what fear wants to rush. Let me show you the difference between a door that honors your calling and a door that exploits your hunger. And when you find the door that stretches you but does not stain you, the door that requires faith but preserves peace, the door that asks for courage but not compromise, do not be afraid of its weight. I will not ask you to walk through it alone. My grace will meet you there. My wisdom will instruct you there. My hand will steady you there. The door I open will not require you to betray your soul. It will call your soul higher. It will summon your integrity to stand. It will teach your gift to serve. It will make your work an altar, your influence a responsibility, and your obedience a light. Beloved, when the door has been tested, when peace has remained, when the signs have returned again and again, when counsel has confirmed what prayer has already whispered, there comes a moment when discernment must become obedience. You cannot stand forever at the threshold asking me to prove again what I have already made clear. You cannot keep circling the same fear, rehearsing every past disappointment, every rejection, every silence, every door that closed before, and call that waiting on me. There is a kind of waiting that is holy, and there is a kind of waiting that becomes hiding. There is a pause that protects the soul, and there is a delay that fear uses to keep you outside of what I have opened. I know why you hesitate. I know the memory of the time you hoped, and it did not happen. I know the sting of the interview that led nowhere, the application that was never answered, the opportunity that seemed promising and then disappeared, the season when you stepped forward and felt embarrassed afterward because nothing changed the way you thought it would. I know how disappointment trains the heart to lower its expectation, how rejection teaches the mouth to say, maybe this is not for me, even when my spirit is saying, rise, my child, and move again. But I did not bring you to this door so you would let yesterday's sorrow speak louder than today's instruction. Remember Peter. Remember how he saw me walking upon the water in the middle of the storm, while the wind was contrary and the boat was shaken. He did not step out because the sea had become calm. He did not move because the waves had disappeared. He moved because he heard my word. As spoken in the Gospel of Matthew, I said, come. That one word became enough ground beneath his faith for the first step. The water did not become solid before he obeyed. The path did not explain itself before his feet moved. Faith met my word with movement, and for a moment, what should have swallowed him became the place that carried him. And so it is with you. I do not ask you to move because you know every outcome. I ask you to move because I am already standing in the place I am calling you toward. I do not ask you to step because you have mastered every detail, answered every fear, and secured every result before you begin. I ask you to step because my voice has gone ahead of you. I ask you to step because the door is not meant only to be admired from a distance. It is meant to be entered through obedience. Some confirmations are not given so you can keep collecting them. They are given so you can move. So today, let faith become practical. Let obedience put its hand to the ordinary task in front of you. Update the resume with prayer, not panic. Send the message with humility, not striving. Prepare for the interview as one who believes I can give wisdom in the room. Accept the conversation you have been avoiding. Ask the question that has remained quietly in your spirit. Submit the proposal. Make the call. Open the document. Gather the records. Learn the skill. Step into the new responsibility with reverence. Do not despise practical movement as though it is less spiritual than prayer. When your hands obey what your heart has heard from me, even simple actions become sacred. Beloved, beware of hesitation disguised as wisdom. Wisdom is patient, but fear is endlessly postponing. Wisdom seeks counsel, but fear hides behind counsel, so it never has to decide. Wisdom tests the door, but fear keeps testing what has already been confirmed because it wants certainty without vulnerability. If you have no peace, wait. If the door requires compromise, refuse it. If my spirit is warning you, listen. But if peace has remained, if the signs have returned, if the door honors your integrity, if the way has opened without manipulation, if your spirit knows that I am calling you forward, then do not keep asking fear for permission to obey me. There will always be a reason to delay if fear is allowed to lead the conversation. Fear will say you are not ready. Fear will say someone else is more qualified. Fear will remind you of your age, your gaps, your weakness, your past, your lack of connections, your unfinished confidence. Fear will tell you to wait until you feel stronger, until the market looks better, until people approve, until every risk has been removed. But my child, courage does not mean the trembling is gone. Courage means your obedience rises while trembling is still present. Faith does not always silence fear before the first step. Sometimes, faith moves while fear is still speaking, and as you walk, fear loses its authority over your feet. Do not let the open door remain only a prophecy in your imagination. Do not let it become something you talk about, pray about, dream about, and yet never enter, because the first step feels too exposed. I am not calling you into reckless striving. I am calling you into obedient movement. Move with prayer, move with humility, move with preparation, move with integrity, move with wise counsel, move with your ear still turned toward my voice. But move. Let your yes become visible. Let your faith have footsteps. Let the confirmation I have given you become an action in the earth. The open door becomes part of your life only when faith turns confirmation into obedient movement. A threshold does not become a room while you remain outside it. A seed does not become a harvest while it stays in your hand. A word does not become a testimony while obedience refuses to rise. So rise, beloved, take the next faithful step. You do not need to know the whole staircase before your foot touches the first place I have lit. You do not need to carry tomorrow before you obey today. I am with you at the door, and I am beyond the door. My hand is not only behind you, healing what wounded you. My hand is ahead of you, preparing what I have appointed. Step forward before fear grows louder. Step forward while peace is still speaking. Step forward because I have called you, and what I open in my appointed time will meet your obedience with grace. Beloved, as you step forward, remember that the work breakthrough I am opening before you is not only for your own increase. It is not only about a salary changing, a title rising, a role becoming visible, or the relief that comes when a long season of uncertainty finally begins to lift. I care about your provision. I care about the needs that have weighed on your heart. I care about the bills, the family, the responsibilities, the prayers you whispered when no one knew how heavy the pressure had become. But my purpose is larger than relief alone. The door at work is connected to calling, because I often use ordinary places of labor as sacred places of influence. Do not see yourself only as an employee looking for a chance. Do not see yourself only as someone trying to be noticed, hired, promoted, included, or finally valued. You are my child. You are marked with purpose. You carry light into rooms where confusion has become normal, where bitterness has settled into conversations, where people work beside one another with tired hearts, hidden grief, quiet fear, and no knowledge that I am near. I may be sending you into that place, not only to receive something, but to release something. Wisdom, kindness, excellence, patience, integrity. A spirit that does not bend to corruption. A testimony that does not have to shout in order to shine. Remember Daniel. He was placed in a system that did not worship me, surrounded by pressures he did not choose, serving under kings whose hearts were not always righteous. Yet Daniel did not lose himself in that environment. He did not surrender his devotion in order to survive. He served with excellence, but he kept his soul anchored in me. He carried wisdom into difficult rooms. He interpreted what others could not understand. He prayed when prayer became costly. He remained faithful when compromise would have been easier, and because his integrity remained, his life became a witness. As written in the book of Daniel, an excellent spirit was found in him. Do you see now, my child? Excellence joined with faithfulness becomes influence in my hand. And so it may be with you. The place that once felt like pressure may become the place where your light is needed. The role that seems ordinary may become the table where I teach you how to speak with wisdom. The promotion that blesses your household may also encourage someone else who thought faithfulness was forgotten. Your increase may become provision for your family, help for those you love, generosity for someone in need, and a visible sign that I remember those who remained faithful when no one applauded them. I do not waste hidden seasons. I do not forget quiet obedience. I do not overlook the one who kept serving, kept learning, kept praying, kept showing up with a clean heart while the door still looked closed. So today, do not reduce this open door to personal escape. Receive the provision, but do not worship the provision. Accept the promotion, but do not let the title become your identity. Walk into the room, but do not leave your calling outside the door. Let your work become an altar. Let your conduct become a lamp. Let your words carry grace. Let your excellence silence accusation. Let your humility protect your heart when favor increases. Let your testimony be seen not only in what you say, but in how you lead, how you serve, how you forgive, how you refuse dishonesty, how you treat the person who cannot advance you. I am placing you where your life can speak. I am opening a door where your faith can have form. You are not merely entering a workplace. You are carrying my light into an assignment. And when others ask how you endured, how you waited, how you rose again after being overlooked, you will know what to say. You will say that my hand was with you in the hidden season. My wisdom guided you at the threshold, and my grace opened what no person could keep closed. Beloved, now step through with peace, not panic. Do not carry resentment from the closed door into the door I am opening now. Do not carry fear from the delay into the appointed time I have prepared. Do not carry shame from rejection, as though the no of people had the power to cancel the yes I have spoken over your life. Release the bitterness that tried to form when you were overlooked. Release the heaviness that came when the answer seemed late. Release the anxiety that keeps asking whether you are behind, whether you missed it, whether the opportunity has passed forever. I was with you in the silence. and I am with you at the threshold. The same hand that held you in the waiting will guide you in the opening. I did not prepare you in hidden places so you would enter your new season trembling under old chains. I did not teach you patience so panic would become your leader. I did not strengthen your character through delay so fear could govern your next step. I have brought you this far with intention. Every season that felt delayed, every place where you had to keep serving without applause, every moment when you had to choose integrity while no one seemed to notice, every prayer you whispered over your work, your future, your family, your provision, and your purpose, I gathered it all. Nothing was wasted, nothing was invisible, nothing was forgotten before my eyes. As written in the book of Revelation, I open, and no man shutteth, and I shut, and no man openeth. So hear me clearly, my child. The door I open no one can shut, and the path I establish will not be destroyed by the opinions of people. What I have appointed will not be overturned by jealousy. What I have prepared will not be erased by delay. What I have spoken will not be broken by the memory of your past. People may have misunderstood you, dismissed you, rejected you, ignored you, or counted you out, but they do not hold the final key. I hold the key. I know the way. I know the time. I know the door that belongs to your life. So today, surrender the need to force what I have not opened, and surrender the fear of entering what I have opened. Lay down striving, lay down comparison, lay down the pressure to prove that you are worthy. Your worth is not born from a title, a salary, a response, an interview, a business success, or a human invitation. You are mine before the door opens, and you are mine after you walk through it. Let that truth steady your feet. Let peace guard your thoughts. Let obedience rise without frantic movement. You do not have to rush as though my timing is fragile. You do not have to manipulate as though my favor is weak. You do not have to beg the wrong doors to accept you when I am preparing the right door to receive you. And now, let your heart pray with me. Father, guide this beloved child with wisdom that is greater than emotion, greater than fear, and greater than pressure. Give discernment to recognize the work door that carries your peace. Give courage to move when you say move, and patience to wait when you say wait. Let favor surround the interviews, the applications, the conversations, the business decisions, the promotions, the meetings, the proposals, and the responsibilities that belong to this appointed season. Close every door that would wound the soul, corrupt the heart, or pull this child away from obedience. Open the door that aligns with purpose, integrity, provision, and peace. Cleanse the motives, Lord. Remove pride, desperation, resentment, and fear. Teach this heart to desire increase without worshiping increase, promotion without losing humility, influence without surrendering holiness, and success without forgetting your presence. Establish wise timing. Bring the right people, the right counsel, the right confirmation, and the right courage. Let this child recognize the sign without striving, walk forward without panic, and carry favor with a clean heart. Let the work of their hands be blessed. Let their mind be clear. Let their words be seasoned with grace. Let their steps be ordered by you. Beloved, receive this peace. Receive this covering. Receive this confidence. You will not miss what I have appointed as you seek me with a sincere heart. You will not be abandoned at the threshold. You will not be left to figure out the open door alone. I am before you. I am beside you. I am behind you. I am the God of the hidden season, and I am the God of the open door. Step through with peace, not panic. And let this be your declaration. I will not miss the sign. I will not move in fear. I will not betray my soul for opportunity. I will not despise small beginnings. I will not let rejection define my future. I will step through the door God opens at work, with faith, with integrity, with courage, and with peace. If this message is speaking to your season, leave your prayer request in the comments for your work, your promotion, your interview, your business, or your career clarity. Subscribe so you can continue receiving these words of faith. Share this message with someone who is waiting on a job breakthrough, and comment these words with confidence. The door God opens for me will not pass me by.